Okay. Good day, folks. This is the session. Hope you had me earlier. There's been a little bit of a change around just because we're some problems with the projector in the main theatre. So we've got a little change to our plans today. But this is what we're going to be doing just now for about half an hour, and then followed by Charlie will be doing his PHP session. Okay, so this morning we were hearing a lot about all the changes that are going on. We obviously know mostly about the curriculum changes, curriculum for excellence, and then higher computing, massive changes, and the plans that hopefully there won't be so many massive changes in the future, because we'll do it incrementally as and when, based on kind of how various advisory groups will kind of feedback as to what we should be doing. So anyway, a big chunk of the new computer science curriculum is HTML, CSS, all your web skills, JavaScript, PHP, all of these things that are on the agenda today. So I'm going to start off by mainly focusing on HTML, CSS. There'll be a bit of JavaScript in the session today as well. If some of you were along at the Education Scotland events recently, a couple of weeks ago, I'm covering some of the same topics, but there will be new stuff here today. And also I'll tell you, and if I forget, somebody remind me, that I'm doing an online JavaScript gaming course starting in about 10 days' time. And if you want to leave me email addresses, I've got paper here, somebody stole my pen, but leave your email address and I'll send you an invite to it, and you can come along and join in with that online course in JavaScript and creating games in JavaScript. Okay, so that's me. Some of the materials that I'll be showing today are on the WordPress blog there. I will update them because there's new stuff that isn't there at the moment, and then there's some details about contacting me. I work in a college, but I do work a lot with sort of ages 15 and up. A lot of people coming from high school, a lot of people that don't have great qualifications and have come to college to kind of get some kind of qualification after not doing so well at school. And we do find that things like web, games, technology are things that are interesting to them. It's something that does engage them, and that's some of the topics that I teach. There's lots of great material out there if you look for it. Yeah? We're on to kind of trying to share material through things like Plan C or posting stuff on Comped.net. And there's lots of great stuff out there. I'm just going to share this with you because it's somewhere I found some nice material recently. This is Adobe's Education Exchange, and it's like an online community for people, teachers mainly, all around the world, to post their materials and share them. Now, yeah, most of it is kind of Adobe related, so if you're not using Adobe software, you might not find stuff there that is entirely relevant to you. However, just recently I did find some stuff that I'm planning to use, and like some activities and things. So there's working with HTML, there's working with CSS, and these are like whole lesson plans. So when those inspectors are coming in, you're kind of panicking for a lesson plan. There's usually something out there you can just go and whip out and say, hey, look, ta-da! And it comes with PowerPoint, it comes with examples, and just score out the Adobe bits that your college or school play. It's great. So this is a whole activity with step-by-step instructions for a teacher to tell you kind of how to go about introducing CSS or HTML or what the topic is. It gives you examples of websites that you can go to. There's even kind of ideas for assessment there and marking assessment. And there's links here to other websites that will give you things that you can share with your class and kind of exemplify the technology that you're talking about. So that was on Adobe's Education Exchange. That's that website there, edX.adobe.com, just to mention that. So it's quite a useful resource if you haven't come across it already. Other great resources that I use quite regularly, Code Academy, I'm sure you know about. You can go in and do online courses in HTML, CSS, PHP, JavaScript, and a whole bunch of other things, Python, etc. Kirsty didn't mention it today, but she should have, is that Education Scotland have partnered with Code Academy. Coming very, very soon is some materials that are going to be in line with the computer science curriculum, okay, on Code Academy. It's been developed by a retired teacher, so somebody who has been working in IT and computing, teaching for quite some time, and I believe it's going to cover a range of things, all the stuff that's on today's agenda, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, I think are going to be there. So that's all online stuff that you and your pupils can use. So that's coming soon. I don't know the date for it, but it certainly got mentioned at Education Scotland meeting a couple of weeks ago, so I thought I'd bring it up again today. Another website I would really like for getting ideas is WebMaker. WebMaker's run by Mozilla, who make the Firefox browser. And they've got lots of nice tools on there. We've got a tool called Thimble, which allows you to create web pages and see the results immediately, a bit like Code Academy. But it also allows you to save your work and share it with others, which is really good. And I have stolen some ideas from that website because they're good ones. And I'll share one with you just in a little while. Another place I had a look at and dip into more recently was code.org. For the last couple of years, there's been this sort of international event called the Hour of Code to encourage people to learn a bit of coding. And code.org is a website that has supported that for the last couple of years, and they have some really cool stuff on there. Like this. You can build games in a Scratch-like environment using characters from video games that your pupils will recognise. So in this example here, we've got characters from Angry Birds, and you've basically got to get the bird to where the pig is in the maze by programming it in a very Scratch-type way. Nice. Doesn't take very long to do. You know, this is a kind of an hour-long lesson, so you can maybe fit that into a lesson somewhere along the way. And it's not just this kind of stuff. There are a whole bunch of other tutorials in a similar fashion. A lot of them are game-based, but for programming using different languages. So there's also a JavaScript-based one as well, where you can kind of join up blocks of JavaScript code to make a character go on an adventure through a dungeon. It's actually pretty good if I like that. So that's on code.org. So lots of great resources out there. Also, this is a fantastic resource. This is a free bit of software which is great for doing all your kind of coding stuff, whether it's JavaScript or PHP or HTML. This software is quite new. I've been using it, well, it's been in beta stages over the past, I don't know, year and a half. And version 1, the actual release version 1, just came out 2 weeks ago. It's open source, so it's free, but it is supported by Adobe as well, so it's got a lot of backing behind it, a bit of money behind it. And it's a code editor, and it's just got some great features. Because it's got so many people supporting it, it's got great stuff. One of the key things I really like about it is live HTML development, which means you have your code editor open, and you see your live web page inside your browser, and as you make changes, it just automatically updates your browser. But also for teaching, I'm going to do a demo of this because it's worthwhile seeing. You'll see kind of how it can be useful in teaching. It's got lots of additional extensions and things that you can get, like JavaScript debugging. It's got support for different languages, so if you're doing Python or something more exotic than that, probably not too basic, but some other languages and things. It's got extensions for helping, like code hinting and debugging and stuff. Another cool thing is it's got a portable version, so you can put it in the pen drive and carry it around with you. Yeah, give it to pupils to take home. Or if your local authority doesn't allow you to install stuff, you can put it on a pen drive, bypass all the security system, and flick them on the middle finger. Okay, so which is probably closer to the truth than anything else. Okay, so let me show you brackets. So this is the brackets code editor. I just have a simple web page in here which has got a little form in it, and the idea behind this is a lesson I use. Actually, one of the very first HTML lessons I do is this. Okay, if I hit this little button here, it's a little live wire sort of lightning strike, it brings open my Chrome browser and actually shows me the web page. Okay, my brackets software is actually running like a web server. Okay, and it's sending the live code to my browser. And that's particularly useful for when you do some like JavaScript coding, because some JavaScript won't run locally. It has to come through a web server because of the security issues. You can't access like local files and things with JavaScript because that would be the world's best virus launching system. Yeah, so you can't do that. You need a web server to run that. Not for kind of basic JavaScript, but for some more advanced stuff. Okay, you need to have a web server. But Brackets bypasses that. It kind of has a web server built in. Unfortunately, it doesn't do PHP and stuff like that just yet. But you can see that sort of support will be coming in the future. So this is one of the first lessons I do with my students. I get them to turn into hackers for the day, and you've got to try and hack into this website. Now, I got this idea that I would try and engage my students a little more by just teaching things a little bit differently. Instead of, HTML, you usually start by saying, this is an HTML tag, this is the head, this is the body, this is how it's structured, really boring stuff. And same comes with programming. You start to teach programming and you say, right, a variable is this, and it stores information, you can have a type, but it's completely abstract concepts because people don't understand that. They see the end result, the user interface, and they think that's what a program is, and they've no experience actually using code. So what I tend to do is give them a kind of real life example, have a little play about it, do a fun activity like this, trying to work out what the passcode is for this website, and then we'll look at the code and see how it's put together. And because this is HTML and JavaScript, it kind of shows how these two technologies fit together. And that's something perhaps a lot of people don't initially understand. Now, the idea behind the White Hat Academy, I'll explain that in a little while. But a white hat hacker is somebody who's a hacker and uses the hacking skills for good, to improve security on systems and things like that, try and test systems and make sure that they're secure. So my idea is to kind of do a set of activities where you're kind of a member of this academy of white hat hackers, and you get a number of different activities that involve hacking or are kind of related to that. So it gives it that kind of edge of cool. Yeah. So the first task is you're going to hack into this website. You've got a 4-digit PIN code to get and to get into this system, and you're going to work it out. So we could just look at the code, obviously, but perhaps your students right at the beginning don't realise that they can go into the code and have a look at it. So what we've got here is we've got a clue, and the clue here, when I click the clue button, says Bannockburn. Okay, and if you know your history, it's a tenuous way of linking in other bits of the curriculum. Very tenuous. Right? Okay, kids, when was Bannockburn? 1746, sir. No, that's Culloden. No. Bannockburn, when was that? Right, okay, 700 years ago. Right, okay, 2014, take away 700. See, a bit of maths there. Okay. Right, okay, 1314. Right, okay, let's see what happens. We put 1314 in. Okay, yeah, it says password okay. Not that exciting really. But let's have a little look at code here. I'm going to just drag this over to one side so I can still see it. I wish I had a wide screen there, it would be better. Right? So here's my code. So what we then do is go and actually have a look at the code. If they don't know what the data is to get into this system, we can then just go and have a little bit of a look at the code. And that's where we start to see these elements that make up the website. And I just give them 5 minutes to have a look at this and figure it out. It pretty much says there, this line here gives you some indication of what the password is. So PIN code value 1314, something fairly straightforward. Okay, so explaining that what we've got on this web page is a thing called a form. And what's really neat is, if I click on the form here in my code, see it highlights in my web browser? How cool is that? Right? Not many code editors do that. So if I click on the form, it shows me that that's the bit of the web page that it's relating to. If I was to click on, say, just the button, right there, the OK button, is the code, and it shows me the object that is relating to that code. How good is that? Right? So that's really useful in teaching these things. Okay? It does all this for CSS and stuff as well, not just HTML. Okay? So that's my first lesson. And that just kind of gives them an indication of how these two technologies work together. There's this thing called the script, okay, which does the hard work, and then there's the HTML, which kind of does the rest of what's on the page there. If I click on the logo there, you see the logo highlights as well, just to indicate that that's the bit of code that relates to what's on the screen there. Okay, so once we've done that little exercise, now it is a slightly more complicated one. Actually, it's still this. Okay, same sort of thing. We've got a form, but significantly it's changed a little bit, because in this example we've got some CSS that is affecting the look of the page. So what I get the students to do is have a look at the two different web pages and do a comparison. What's the difference between the first one and the second one? And there are a number of differences. First thing is, you can't find the password, right? Because there's no password inside the code here. Okay? The difference being that what I'm doing is linking to an external JavaScript file. So that's where all the code is. So the script that was in the previous one is gone. It's now in a separate file. So then you can introduce external files, external JavaScript files. The rest of it is pretty much identical though, apart from the bit where you click the button and it says go and run a function called check password. Okay? And the check password function is inside some separate JavaScript which is there. Okay? So this one's different. The clue is millennium in that one, and the password is 2000. And it also, if you don't put anything in, it prompts you with a message as well, tells you you've got the wrong password and things as well. So slightly more complex because it's got some more conditional statements in there. And they also should notice that the web page looks different because we're applying a style to the web page. So we've got a style sheet as well. So if I just bring up the style sheet, which is here, okay, just pop that over to one side. That up. So again, with the styles here, I can click on things like my font there, which is Verdana, and it shows me which part of the web page is being affected by it. Okay, if I choose a colour, it shows me that colour there, or that area there is affected by that colour. And it also gives me a little pop-up of what that colour is. And if I want to change it, right-click, choose Quick Edit, and look at that, it's got a little colour picker right in the right, right? And it tells me what hex code is. You can even convert it to hue, saturation and lightness, and also to RGB colours as well. So if you want to explore some of those other areas of the curriculum, number systems and stuff, maybe a good way to kind of introduce that. So that's sort of it does that. And as I just click on any of these CSS rules, you'll see it will highlight the things that are affected by it. Maybe hard to see, but as I click on the word area, what's pointing out that the area is affecting those buttons. And I can go in and change any of this anytime I like. So the colours you've already seen, I could just highlight that and I can say, let's make that times, yeah, and immediately it's changed it on the web page. So a great wee tool for teaching it because you just see immediate results. The Code Academy kind of works in the same sort of way, but doesn't reach out of that system and gives you the control. So I've got this whole bunch of tutorials that I'm working on that I'm kind of turning into this White Hat Academy, kind of putting a storyline on it, so it's kind of a fun thing. Where I got this idea for this was actually from this book. Right? Back in the 80s, there was a series of books that you could buy called Micro Adventures, right? And they were kind of like thriller stories for teens. And in this book here, you read the book and it's about like Earth's going to be attacked by Martians or something, space invaders, right? And you get to about page 5 and you've got to write a program to save the world, right? And it sounds absolutely mad, but it's reasonably good fun. And so I'll have some code, and because it was like BBC Micro and Spectrum, Commodore and stuff, there's different versions of the code at the back of the book. And you type the code, and you know what it does? It does a countdown, so you can launch a missile to intercept the invader. So the 10, 9, blast off! But just with text, so it's nothing really that exciting. However, about 2 years ago, I heard about a group of teachers in America who were thinking about revitalising this idea. Sadly, it never came off, but there's a bunch of teachers and coders who got together and they were going to actually do like a new version of this for a current programming language. Sadly, it never happened. But the group were also talking about, instead of making it a book, let's make it a video game. You play a video game, and at certain points you put it type codes and to actually solve these various problems. So it's sad that it didn't happen. We're going to do a Kickstarter and try and get money to do this. But it kind of fell by the wayside. But it kind of did spark me off the idea that let's try and use storylines, telling stories as a method of engaging with students and pupils. And that's where this sort of white hat hacker kind of storyline comes along. So let me show you another example in the story of the White Hat Hacker Academy. Right? Here's one. Some of you may have seen this before as a zombie game that I've shown before, where basically I provide the students with some graphics. This is zoom these out so you can see them all. Okay, so we have a graphic of a room, which is actually a room in the White Hat Academy. Okay, we used to have zombies that would come into the doors and windows, right? That's what the idea behind this lesson was, that we were going to use CSS positioning to position objects so that we would have zombies coming in through the doors and windows. But as we saw in today's presentation, drones are the big thing, right? So we now have drones with cameras that are flashing away taking pictures. So the storyline in this one is that this is our academy, but there's somebody trying to hack in or break into the academy, trying to find out our secrets, and they've launched some drones, and they're going to be spying in through the windows and doors. Okay, so the pupils get these graphics here. So we've got the room, we've got the drone, and we've got some objects that are just lying about. Every computer lab has like files and crates. I might change that for a Dell computer box or something. Maybe I don't know, change it to something else. And the idea is, we'll do this as a little game. So I teach some CSS positioning, show them how to do that. They get these graphics. They team up, 2 people. First person has to make this. They have to make this room here. Right, so they organise these graphics so that the drones are looking into the windows and the door, and there's one barrel and one crate in the room. And we time them, right? So 6 minutes, roughly, usually. 6 to 7 minutes is what it takes them to build this. Okay, once we've shown them how to position one object, and also shown them about layering, how the layers work, so the Z index. Time them, takes them 7 minutes. The second person, their job is to block up the exits and windows and stuff so that the drones can't take pictures. Okay, so they have to do this. Right? And they've got to make it look, feasible. They can't have crates flying in the air and stuff like that. That's just wrong. Right? Okay? So that's quite good at reactivity. Yeah, it's quite a bit of fun. So, like I said, I'm building a whole bunch of these sort of things along the lines of that. Probably run out of time, so I'm just going to show you one last thing that is completely offline little activity you might want to try. Some of you might not have computers for everybody in your classroom. Yeah? Okay, so here's an idea. I got this from the WebMaker website. What you do is, you make a simple web page. On the web page, it's got all your HTML tags, it's got a wee bit of CSS styling in it, and it's also got a very simple story. And in that story, you might include things like a table or some ordered lists and things. And what you do is, you cut out loads of cards, and you put each line of HTML on a card. You put the different blocks, the paragraphs of the story on a card. You put the CSS blocks on a separate card. You get a team of people, deal out the cards evenly, and what they do is they take turns to play a card, to put it on the table. Okay, so they take turns to play a card. And then the second person plays their card and tries to figure out where it should go. Does it go before this card or after it? Okay, so it's teaching about the structure of an HTML page. So I'm at the moment writing a story based on the White Hat Academy that's going to be part of this. Okay, so they keep doing that. And they have an option. They can either play a card or instead of playing a card, they can swap cards around. You know, that one doesn't go there. The head doesn't go before the body, or does it? Yeah, swap it around if they want. Until they've got all the cards on the table, and they've got a whole story, if you like. The HTML code, the CSS, all the tags and stuff in the right order, or the order they think it should be in. And also the storyline that's in the page as well. And then we can type in the code and then see what the page looks like. Right, so I'm writing this bestseller, the wannabe matter. That'll be it next Christmas. We'll buy it now. Okay. So what I'm kind of asking you to try and do is think about different ways of engaging your pupils. You know, we've got this brand new curriculum, everything's kind of changing curriculum-wise, so why don't we try and change kind of how we teach some of these subjects? Okay. I haven't really covered JavaScript much there, just a wee bit, but I do want to kind of give you a wee bit of an announcement because I'm going to be doing some free online webinars for JavaScript coding. We're going to start a week on Tuesday, 2nd of December, 7 to 8 p.m. Okay. If you want to learn a wee bit about making games with HTML5 and JavaScript, I'm going to be running this. This will probably be the only one this year. It's only going to be an hour, and it will get you up to speed with making a very simple kind of basics of a game. But I'm hoping that come January, we'll run one maybe every couple of weeks, and it'll just add extra features onto the game that we're going to build. So if you're interested in taking part in this, leave me your email address and leave some paper near the door. So even if you stay for Charlie's event, I'll leave it at the end. You can put your email address down, and I'll send you details on how to join it. It will get recorded, so if you can't make the live class, don't worry about it. I've got your email address, I'll send you a link to the recording so you can watch it. Okay? And there will be an opportunity in there for kind of questions and answers and things, as well as me just demonstrating some of this stuff. Just a very quick look at kind of what I'm planning to do as part of that. Okay, here's a very simple game. This is my first lesson I do with my game design class. I give them this game. Immediately you see that game, you know what to do. Right? Most people can work out what you do. Right? You can work out who you are. You're the white guy. Okay? The red things that are moving, the baddies, stay away from them. There are things that look a bit like coins. You obviously collect them, and it does say score at the top. So you can very much work out it's a platformer game. Yay! Jump about. Fantastic. Yay! Go, and I'm just going to collect that coin. Oh, it makes a noise. My score's been up by 5. What happens if I touch the red guy? Oh dear, it resets. Okay. Try again. Let's jump up there. Oh, that's harder, that one. Oh, pressure. Oh, that hard, actually, later on lunchtime, if you see me around, I'm setting up an Oculus Rift. An Oculus Rift VR headset. Come and play the zombie game, that'll blow your mind. Right? Getting chased by zombies in 3D. Some of you will be trying to run out the door. Yeah, slightly virtual. So anyway, that's what's coming up in that webinar. We're going to start building this game. Very quickly, it is an HTML page and a big block of JavaScript. It is less than 200 lines of code to make that, which is pretty amazing. Yeah, if you've done any kind of game coding, and it's actually really, really, really simple to do. Okay, once it's explained to you, you'll just go, that's so simple. Okay, like I say, this is the first lesson I do with my game design students, and what I do is, I actually give them this game complete to play with, and then hack the code. And I give them some instructions. See in the comments here, I've got some instructions. Replace the coin with a star or diamond, and I give them some graphics. And they've got to work out how you load the graphic in and display it on the screen instead of the coin. I also say change the background colour, so we've got to figure out where the colour is set inside the code. Swap the player and the enemy graphics, so that the player is now the red person and the enemy is the white. Okay, so that is kind of hacking around. Increase the coin value from 5 to 10, so every time you pick a coin up, it's 10 points instead of 5. So I give them this, and it's amazing, they just go and do it, just get right into it, figure it out, okay, with hardly any teaching. Yeah? There's a bit of code, that's what I want you to do, figure it out. And you can just test it and see it all changing, kind of live in front of them. And I sit back, and have a cup of coffee, and do a bit of marking, say newspaper in, fantastic. Charlie, is it something to get going here?
I'm all good.
Yeah, okay. So thanks folks, but you, just a reminder that the webinar coming up, if you want to sign up for it, just leave your email. Oh, I've got one already. Right, I'll leave it just over here with a pen and stick your email. Let's pass it around.